there is this question that often preoccupies the spiritual seeker. It's a question that I have often been asked, and one that I see arising as an obstacle to the realization of true self, or the resting in true self. So, in light of this preoccupation and seeming obstacle, I will attempt to address it in some way here. It's to do with whether one needs to work on oneself before embarking on the quest for awakening, and whether work on the self is required after awakening. I'm referring to the many experiences of awakening, an opening to awakened consciousness that ends up as a I've got it, I've lost it syndrome. I had an awakening 25 years ago, or I had an awakening 2 years ago, and there was such peace in that, openness in that, and then somehow it's lost, and all the personal stuff seems to return, and very often more vociferously than before, because now you are aware of it. You are aware of that difference between openness, the open true self, the open nature of true self, and the contracted self. If you've participated or followed, participated in these gatherings, if you followed through my writing and teachings and videos, I often speak about awakening is not a self-improvement project. I say it over and over again. It's not about fixing the self. It's not about becoming a more perfect self. It's not about self-improvement and having a successful or perfect life. So, obviously, by that statement itself, I am saying that working on yourself in terms of fixing your personality self, improving certain qualities of the self, getting rid of what's wrong with you, is not the answer. It's not the direction to go in. But now I'm going to address that subtle relationship between what I would rather call preparing the way, clearing the way, and the possibility of true awakening. Clearing the way is not the same as working on yourself in the sense of trying to fix the self-identity, the self that is this or that, happy or unhappy, the self that is poor or rich, the self that is confident or lacking in confidence. It's not about perfecting that. It's not about avoiding one side of the spectrum and trying to find a method or process to identify with the other end of the spectrum. Clearing the way is vital. What do I mean by clearing the way? Yeah, clearing the way is vital. Self-improvement is not. Yeah, that's the subtle conversation that I'm attempting to open up here. What does clearing the way mean? Clearing the way means that all unprocessed energies must be digested. What are unprocessed energies? Unprocessed energies are essentially grievances, regrets, resentments. When you hold on to a grievance, not only do you separate energetically into a poor me, the one that's been hard done by, the one that has been abused, the one that has been hurt, the one that has been traumatized. And there is an identity, a contraction, a contractive energy. That grievance means there is a layer of emotion, which is energy beneath it that has not been felt. To truly feel something is to digest it. That's the processing. That's the same as when we eat. If we do not truly taste what we eat, we do not truly digest it. We do not truly assimilate it. We do not truly metabolize it, so that the goodness can be drawn in for true nourishment, and the poison, the waste matter, can be expelled. That is the same for every energy, whether we're talking about something material, like food, something solid, something that's with substance, or something that is more invisible, like a feeling, an emotion, an experience. All human experience is energy. It's energetic. Yeah? So everything needs to be digested. When we do not digest it, then we hold on to it as a thought, as an identity, as a resentment, a grievance, and an unmet feeling at its core. That remains. It remains in your body, which is an energetic field. It remains in your aura, which is an energetic field. And that holding, which is part of the contracted self, if that is not fully processed, becomes an impediment to the flow of awakened consciousness, the light of awareness. This becomes the shadow bag, that which we don't want to see, that which we don't want to touch, that which we don't want to taste. Yeah, that becomes the shadow bag. And the light of consciousness, true consciousness, the light of self-awareness, true nature, even if it has been glimpsed either unexpectedly or as with a catalyst, a plant medicine, a psychedelic medicine, or simply meditation or something, even if it is glimpsed, it's got nowhere to go. It can't flow into you as an energetic vessel. It can't flow into you. So it remains as a glimpse. I've got it, I've lost it. The I've got it may last a long time. There are many individuals out there who have the I've got it realization. And it's real. It's been glimpsed, it's been seen, but there it remains. And at some point, in a few days, in a few months, even in a few years, something in the shadow bag comes up and says, what about me? Yeah? What about me? I need to be digested. I need to be unprocessed. Processed, rather. I need to be processed. I need to be digested. Because the light is pushing in, but it has no space. So something has to be met. So what emerges very often is an old bag of emotion, the baggage, that takes the seemingly awakened one, or the one who's had the realization or the glimpse, by surprise. And it may come through the body as something that devastating that comes by surprise. Yeah. And so there's like a clash there. And so that at that point, something needs to not be worked on in the sense of self-improvement, but something needs to be met energetically to make way for the light. Yeah? To make way. Because what is the light if nothing more and nothing less than life force itself? Yeah? If we talk about life force and we talk about consciousness, perhaps we see those as different things. Consciousness is in the higher realms, life force is in the more primal or dense realms, but it's not. I would say that they are one and the same. Yeah? Life force itself is that which animates the light. The light is that which brings illumination to life force. Yeah? So life force must move. Life force must have space to move in you in all energetic dimensions. Only then can the light of consciousness, come home to itself in you. And that's the beginning of the embodiment of awakening. Yeah. If the vehicle, if the vessel is encrusted with unprocessed, undigested energies, then it's like water flowing through a pipe. There isn't a clear passage. Only an empty vessel can be filled with God. Only an empty vessel can be filled with light. This is not about being perfect. This is not about fixing what you think is wrong with you. This is not about psychotherapy even. This is about your availability. Your availability to meet everything that has been stuffed energetically into a shadow bag. Everything that has been avoided, rejected. Everything that has become encrusted into some kind of grievance. A grievance against yourself, a grievance against somebody else, your family, your friend, your brother, your sister, a grievance against the world. That's a big one. Huh? And a grievance against God, existence, life. Why have you abandoned me?